Welcome back to BSpice. In this session, we'll talk about double block and bleed valve arrangement. As you can see here, so in a single assembly, you have two block valve and you have a bleed for draining. Okay, right. This is the look and feel of this. As you can see here, in a single assembly, you have a two block valve and one bleed valve. Then similarly here. So basically, this topic I decided to upload because during our BSpice is conducting training, right, online training. So during that, one of our trainee actually asked this question. See, he was attending one HAZUP session, and during the HAZUP session, the people they started talking about double block and bleed wire. So that's why we are uploading this video. Okay. In this video, we'll talk about the functionalities, the requirement, the components, all these in detail. Okay. First, I'll talk about intro. As you know, friends, oil and gas in petrochemical and pharma industry, it relies heavily on the complex piping, right? What for? To transport fluids or gases or chemicals, right? To maintain a tight seal isolating equipment, right? Yes. So, and facilitating maintenance also very essential, right? In oil and gas. So a double block and bleed valve is such a critical component that combines these functions to enhance the safety and operational efficiency. So that is the point. So the DBB, we call it as a double block and bleed, is such a critical equipment or component that combine all these functions, meaning, to maintain a tight seal requirement, isolation, and facilitating the maintenance. All these we can achieve using this. Okay, this is just an intro. Of course, I'm going to talk about more. So what is double block and bleed? A double block and bleed is a specialized type of valve designed to provide a superior level of isolation. That is a point. Superior level of isolation and safety in fluid control system. So that is a point. So the DBB combines function of two separate valves and a bleed port into a single compact unit. That's what I highlighted earlier in the first slide. So it's basically combines the function of two separate valves and a bleed port into a single compact unit. Okay. So double block and bleed is a single assembly of two inline black valves as we are seen in the figure and one bleed port, right? So DBV valve is like having a three valves in one, and the task of these three separate valve is performed by this assembly, single assembly. So thereby, while saving a huge space, installation, maintenance time, weight, cost, all these actually. Okay, you got it, friends? So it's like having a three valves in one. Okay, right. So this is the meaning actually. Okay, now what's the purpose actually? Okay, now let us go into the purpose. The main purpose of using a double block and bleed is to ensure the fluid from upstream and downstream does not reach other components of the system. So basically it provides a tight isolation. So using a double block and bleed is to ensure the fluid from upstream and downstream does not reach other components of the system. So DBB helps to easily bleed off or drain the remaining fluid from the intermediate section. See, we have a double block, right? Yes, and we have a bleed, right? So after we isolate that, you have an intermediate section, some fluid, right? So that will, the bleed valve will drain the remaining fluid so that they can execute maintenance, repair work, all these without any hazardous issue actually. That's a point. So in a double block and bleed system, isolation is achieved from upstream and downstream flow or pressure. So that is the main purpose. So bleed valve is used to drain the cavity between the two block valves. Very simple, right, friends? So this is the purpose. Now we'll talk about a bit of, functionalities. Okay, components, rather components. See, if you receive a P&ID, you will have you can see the similar kind of arrangement. That's why I put it here. As you can see here, block wall, two block wall, and you have a bleed wall. So this is one type of arrangement in the P&ID. And here this also same actually, but it's a different look and feel. That's it, two block walls and one bleed wall. Okay, so now we two isolation valves, right? Okay, so the double block part of the DBB valve consists of two isolation valves. So it could be typically a valve gate arranged in series. That's the point. Okay. So these valves, when closed, create a double barrier, meaning that isolates the downstream and upstream piping, ensures that no flow passes through. So that is the point. So downstream, upstream, and ensures that no flow passes through. Okay. So this is the two isolation valve functioning. Okay. Then bleed valve. So the bleed part of this valve is of a smaller valve, often a needle valve, located between isolation valve. So this could be a valve or gate, but this is a needle valve. Okay, so that is about the bleed valve. So its purpose is to allow controlled bleeding of fluid or gas from the cavity, whatever is here, between the two isolation valves. That's it. Okay, so this is crucial for verifying the integrity of the seal and for safety releasing pressure. Okay, this is about the bleed valve. Okay, normally we can go with 3-inch, 3/4 inch or 1-inch bleed valve. Okay, right. Then few more to add on this. So here, two block valves. Okay, maybe here I'm going to explain the working actually, working. So there we talked about components. Here I'm going to talk about working. So this is another look and feel, friends. As you can see here, two block valves and one bleed valve. Okay, right. So two block valves provide isolation from the upstream and downstream. Okay, very good. So a set of gate or ball or needle or globe is normally used as a block valve that are placed back to back. Okay, so in the center of cavity of two block valves, we have a third valve called bleed valve. Okay, is positioned. So the same double block and bleed arrangement can be obtained using a three separate valves. See, just imagine if you don't have all the three together, we can have a separate, but that again cost space, so many things are there, right? So, but the single unit double block and bleed saves huge space, weight, installation, of course, time and cost. Okay. So also additionally from O&M viewpoint, single unit double block and bleed valves are better as potential leak paths are significantly reduced. See, the more valves, the more possibility of leak path, right? So this is a one single valve. So thereby significantly reduced in a single unit and pressure drop also minimized. So that is the working actually of this. Okay, few more to add on. Okay, now we will see the normal operation. Okay, normal operation. So during normal operation, what will happen? Both isolation valves are open, right? This will be open. So allowing the fluid to go through the valve as if it were a regular pipeline and bleed remains closed. Okay, right. So then when we isolate this, okay, when the maintenance or repairs are needed, the DBB valves offer a unique advantage of closing both isolation valve, so seals of the section of the pipeline which it is installed, right? This isolation ensures that no fluid pass through, right? Okay. So now what is this bleeding? So after these are isolated, the bleed valve can be opened to release them trapped fluid or gas between the isolation valve. That's it. So this step is crucial for safety and maintenance purpose as it prevents the pressure buildup that could be hazardous. That's what I mentioned earlier. So this is about the bleeding. Of course, few more to add on to the bleeding. So, okay. See, the main function of the bleed is to drain or vent the cavity created between two isolation valves. Okay. And also we can use it for flow diversion and also for sampling and injection point connection. Okay. And of course, for integrity or maintenance check connection to monitor the leakage. Okay. So bleed valves can be vented to atmosphere directly, can be, if you think about this in the top, vented to atmosphere directly, or a hose connection can be used for disposal. Okay, we can connect a hose and we can safely dispose this. So this is about the block and bleed arrangement, friends. I hope you got some insights. Thank you for watching. See you in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.